Nathaniel Hackett, now the offensive coordinator of the New York Jets after 1 year, not even 1 year, most of 1 year as the head coach of the Denver Broncos. Fired after a 4-11 start. Hackett worked with Robert Saleh in Jacksonville in 2016. Hackett does have experience calling plays before he became head coach of the Broncos, not in Green Bay, but he called plays in places like Jacksonville. And Peter, one thing I noticed yesterday, and I heard from some of the reporters who were getting these communications, the Jets were working overtime to spin their narrative about Hackett and what went wrong in Denver and how it's not his fault and how he's still a great offensive coach and yada, yada, yada. The easiest explanation is some coordinators just don't make for good coaches. And that doesn't mean he's a bad coordinator. We've seen it time and again. We've seen coordinators who have been so good, they get a head coaching job, they get fired, they go back to being good coordinators, it sets them up for a head coaching job, they get fired, they go back to being good coordinators, and they get another head coaching job. Sometimes you're just better off as a coordinator, and that may be exactly what the Jets need.
You know, the great thing about when you investigate Paul Hackett, you understand that players really like the way he teaches. They like learning from him. They like his meetings. You can't say that about every coach in the NFL. One of the reasons that everybody has always liked the way he teaches is that he is employed, he did in Denver, basically, and this sounds crazy, but like a learning specialist and a guy who can teach coaches how to teach players. And, you know, players took advantage of this guy and coaches took advantage of this guy. And he just is a really smart person in getting his point across. So what happened in Denver and why didn't it work in Denver? I think it's some combination between Russell Wilson just literally hitting a wall. Figuratively hitting a wall, the writer. And also, I think it snowballed because he had such a difficult time actually coaching and figuring out all the different things that go into being a head coach and mastering them. He could master teaching an offense to a team, but he couldn't master all the problems that you have to solve when you're actually the head coach of a team. That's kind of how I look at it, and why I would not be afraid if I were Robert Saleh of hiring this guy and everybody thinking, oh my God, this guy's a clown. I wouldn't think that at all, because the difference between coaching an offense and coaching a team can be gargantuan.
Absolutely. I was talking to somebody about this last night. Some of the coaches who were coordinators want to go in their office, close the door, and scheme all day long. A good head coach is a leader. A good head coach knows how to communicate effectively with everyone, individually and collectively, because you have to have a different style for all your different players. That was one of Jimmy Johnson's things. One guy responds one way, another guy responds a different way. You got to know what gets them to respond. You got to do it directly, and then you got to be able to take over the room. That's why Dan Campbell's doing so well with the Lions. Let somebody else worry about the X's and O's. He's the guy who's getting his guys ready to literally and figuratively run into and through the wall. That's what's important, and that's why it's such a different job. And these owners, one of the things that I love and hate about this business, and I think I love it more than hate it, the owners don't know what the hell they're looking for. So they hire these guys without considering the bigger picture. What kind of a leader is he going to be in the locker room? And it just didn't work for Hackett. And it was clear in that storm of activity, he couldn't process fast enough. He couldn't do it. He didn't look the part. He didn't act the part. But he could be a very good coordinator. That's all that matters for the Jets. So I just thought it was kind of weird that they were trying to push this narrative that there was some sort of a power play or this or that. It just didn't work, and that's okay. It doesn't work for a lot of coordinators. That doesn't make them bad coordinators. Hi, it's Mike Florio. Thanks for watching PFT on YouTube. Hit subscribe for the latest news and analysis from Pro Football Talk.